quite a lot going on at West Ham. We actually have a transfer update worthy of the name at the moment. We've actually got some hard evidence, which is really good. Let's start with the Edson Alvarez story. Fabrizio Romano has not only tweeted that Alvarez is on his way to West Ham to complete a medical, we've had it confirmed by the club as well. The fee is £32 million plus add-ons. That's from West Ham. That's the news from West Ham, just so as you know that. £100,000 a week. The club are really keen to stress that it's not £148,000 a week that was reported a couple of days ago. Now, here's what's interesting about Fabrizio Romano's tweet. He's tweeted a picture. And in the picture is obviously Edson Alvarez. You bloody well hope so, wouldn't you? It looks like a private. It's got to be a private jet. Of course, a private jet. And it's Edson Alvarez, it's his agent, some other bloke as well, and right in the back of the aeroplane, I'll pop the picture up here, if not the picture will be on the thumbnail, it's Tim Steidten. He's sort of in the seat, sort of behind like that. Oh, he is looking like the cat that got the cream. It's the first time I've seen Tim Steidten without that big grey scarf on as well, which is really good. I think this is really, really pleasing to see from a West Ham point of view, well, for me anyway, because this shows that actually we do have a director of football who is clearly doing some work here. He's doing his job. He's getting a player in. I don't know whether you want to say that this is definitely a Tim Steidten signing, but I think it's safe to assume so. Let's just hope that David Moyes is going to play the player. I think he will. You know what? I think there's been numerous players that David Moyes didn't sign over the years he's been here. As myself and Gio, certainly, and neither of us are convinced that he signed Lucas Paqueta and he played him plenty. I don't think he signed Saïd Benrahma and he played him. I don't actually think he signed Nikola Vlasic, David Moyes, by the way, and I don't think he just wasn't impressed by him at all. I'm hoping he's going to play this Alvarez. He is, it says on here, the most expensive Mexican player ever. There you go, which is, I don't know whether that's a good or a bad thing. He's flying over right now. I think he might have even landed already for medical. The transfer should get announced either tonight or tomorrow on West Ham's usual media outlets. So I'm sure they're working up to doing things now. What we may have found out since last night, I did my video about Scott McTominay and, of course, Harry Maguire. £30 million bid for each. They were both turned down. However, West Ham remain in dialogue with them. Let's just go back to the Moyes and Steidten thing before we go too far onto that. I think what this probably shows, if we get Alvarez and we get Maguire and we get McTominay, I think it probably shows that the two people are actually working together. I'm not suggesting they're working well together because we just don't know. But I think if you look at Steidten signing players and Moyes is signing players, maybe it's just as simple as that. Maybe there's no massive conspiracy. Maybe they're both just involved. Maybe they agree on a lot of the signings. No, they never agree on everything, but it looks like we're bringing players in anyway. Now, the story goes that with West Ham still being in dialogue with Manchester United, that actually David Moyes has promised Harry Maguire the West Ham captaincy should he join. I don't think there's any surprise on that at all. I'm certainly not going to make a big deal about it myself. We've lost our leaders, really, haven't we? We've lost Mark Noble and, of course, we've lost Declan Rice last season. There were suggestions that maybe Thomas Souček might be used as captain, but look, let's be fair, I think there's a lot of us hoping he doesn't start every game. He started loads of games last season. And the other thing is, Souček is not massively vocal on the pitch, and I think you've got to be. So, is there anything particularly sensational about David Moyes offering Maguire the captaincy? I think not. What it does show is that we are now in dialogue with the players. And I think if we're in dialogue with the players, they could be quite close to signing. As I don't know this. Someone just WhatsApped me before I started doing this. Video. I didn't WhatsApp me, it was put in the Hammers Chat Patron Addicts WhatsApp group. Somebody said that Danny Murphy had said that Maguire's too good for West Ham. Oh, shut up, Murphy, for goodness sake. He's like the biggest troll of the lot now. I used to like him. I used to like Danny Murphy when he first started doing radio. Now not so much, really, it has to be said. Another little rumour that I'd heard about, and this has got to be a load of rubbish, is Ansu Fati, the wide player, the one that's sort of just a fast, he's like a little whippet, isn't he, really? Really good player, plays for Barcelona. We're linked with him. Can it be? I mean, I know the links have gone back maybe a couple of months. I think not. I think it must be impossible. Surely not. I mean, that really would be next level. I'd be surprised that that Barcelona would be letting him go, to be honest with you. He was meant to be Lionel Messi's heir, really, wasn't he? That really would be next level, as I say. What it does show me, though, is if it is true, we're definitely after a left winger, and I think we are after a wide player. And that much has to be true, because we went so far down the line of signing Gorgeous Borges that somebody at the club wants a left winger. So if I don't get him, surely we're going to go and look for somebody else. But they are very, very... they're very different, aren't they, in terms of the calibre and the stature and the signings, those two. That'd be sure. I'd love us to sign him. That would be magnificent, has to be said. Lots of talk still about James Ward-Prowse. Look, we're signing Alvarez. What we don't do is we don't sign Alvarez and Ward-Prowse and McTominay. So it's one or t'other, as they might say. Not you. We don't say that. Just some might say that. And who else is there? There is, of course, Armando Broja, or Mandalorian Broja, as we used to call him. Now, this is where it gets a bit tenuous. West Ham need a striker. Scamacca's gone. I think it's fair to say that. Last season, Mikel Antonio played lots of games, but I think it's fair to say last season Antonio had his worst season in the last 4. Probably not getting any better, Antonio. I think it's hard to make the case that Danny Ings fits well into David Moyes' system. He's not the only one, is he? Let's be fair. I think it's a little bit too early to ask for Mubama to lead the line, or I do want him to feature more. And I think in terms of Mubama and Callum Marshall, we've got a couple of really good players coming through the academy. But we probably need somebody ready for the now. So we're definitely going to need a striker. Now, I'm thinking that actually in terms of the striker, what we're probably going to look at here is Armando Broja, as I just said. Now, here's where it takes a little bit tenuous now. So let me just, I've got to make sure I've got the guy's name right. So there's sort of this big load of stuff going on. It's a bit like 6 degrees of separation, if you want. If Lukaku, basically, if Chelsea can get rid of Lukaku, they might be doing a swap deal, which will allow Vlahovic. Have I got that right? Have I said that right? Vlahovic. He was meant to be the next big thing. Arsenal were very close to signing him a couple of seasons ago, weren't they? If they can sort out that swap deal and Chelsea get Vlahovic, then they may well be willing to let Broja come to West Ham. Now, I don't know whether that's in a permanent deal or a loan or anything else, but it sort of makes sense for us. The one thing I don't like about this is we're not in a position where we're able to wait on anything anymore. We've already done enough waiting, and that waiting was caused by ourselves. That was our own dilly-dallying, our own dithering. I think if now we got to wait for a swap deal involving Vlahovic and Lukaku to manifest itself before we can go and sign Broja, you don't know. That thing could drag on for a couple of weeks itself. So we don't want to find ourselves get into a situation at the start of the season whereby we go into the season with Danny Ings and Danny Ings and Mikel Antonio. Because I would suggest we're in a weaker position than we were last season by going to the season with Gianluca Scamacca and Antonio. And Scamacca actually started his career quite well at West Ham. It just sort of petered off later on. He put a run of 4 games together where he was very, very good. So, and then he kicked Antonio out of the team. I find it hard to find a situation where Danny Ings kicks Antonio out of the team. So this is something we've got to do. We must bring in a forward. Rumours are that we're looking at different left backs. Ian Martson, again, the Chelsea player, a Dutchman, has been rumoured again. Looks like a good player. I wouldn't mind him at all. I think that would be really good. There's loads of stuff going on with Aaron Cresswell at the moment. Don't particularly want to talk about it because I don't believe all of it. I've got to say, I think some of it's a little bit naughty, as I've mentioned, on numerous occasions this season. I do think there's a load of misinformation being put out there, and so anyway, I don't really want to talk about that one. So if any news comes in on that, we'll certainly discuss it. But as it is at the moment, bids turned down for Maguire and McTominay. We're still in talks. Edson Alvarez is flying. He's on a plane. He's not flapping his wings. He's flying over with a very happy looking Tim Steidten behind him on a private jet. Oh, he's living the life, isn't he? Tim Steidten, he is absolutely living the life there. I'm looking at the picture, actually, zooming in on the picture. There's a pilot in the... the pilot's in the cockpit. That's a good thing. Hopefully they all get here safe and sound. Touchdown safely at terra firma. They're probably not coming into Heathrow. If you're coming to Heathrow, I'll give them a lift. I'll pick them up. I'll drop them over. Drop them over to the training ground. That'd be nice. Give you an inside scoop. They're probably going to land at the London City Airport, aren't they, really? Anyway, there you go. That's today's transfer roundup.